Okay.
You want me to take it with you last time, or did you essentially cover that already?
Technically, this session's I'm gonna log this session as a sort of a 0.5 type thing, and it was said in the last session by you, I believe, that I was going to be the one that would have to do the recap for this one. So, I am perfectly content doing a second version of the same recap. Basically, you had adorable, wonderful moments of training, summoning an adorable little tiger cub, and you almost giving Shiori an aneurysm because you stayed up 2 nights in a row.
Don't blame the player. Blame the game that allows the player to play.
Yes. And then there was a visit via a bird, a raven, that
quilted itself nevermore.
Yes. That led to Sora and Pijo leaving Rudataka a little bit earlier than everyone else, even though Sora wanted to make sure everybody made it to Rusadana, and everyone giving off notes to either their Sume to her brother and you to Tenemaru, or the Perfect Prince, because you guys remembered that he was a thing and he was annoying.
Don't you just love the names we come up with, these assholes?
Well, it's only because I come up with names that are somewhat difficult to pronounce, or at the very least, I don't articulate them well enough for you to remember which ones are which.
That and I'm horrible with names. I'm great with lines, I'm great with voices. Names? Fuck no.
Yes. So after that,
I can shit too if you want me to.
Oh, I know you can do that. I can do that too, actually. So following
the split up to a really funky editing, Mr. Cliffhanger over here. God, I listened to that as like, you cut at the right time. I don't know if you do it for sadistic glee, or it's just perfect timing or not.
For what? From going back and forth?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I did that on purpose. That was fun.
You are a sadistic asshole.
Hey, it works, doesn't it?
Point. No, your editing skills need a little bit of work. Some of the music was too low-key that I could only pick it up with in the ears, so.
Yeah. I still need to work on that. I'm trying to find that happy middle ground between music being too loud and too soft. A session or two ago, when it was uploaded, the music was way too loud, and then in this one, it's somewhat way too low. So.
Yeah. Well, as they say, I see the bad moon rising.
Yes.
So. By the way, that would be one of those songs for that quote-unquote list that nobody knows about except for me and certain people.
So. Following that, the group splits up, and you head off with Satomi and Kimogu back to Rusadana to return her home, only to find that it had been attacked.
Yeah, everybody had a case of cold shoulder.
Yes, by a crazy cold ninja whom you dubbed Snowflake, because I haven't actually given him a name.
No, I called him Cupcake.
You called him Cupcake, then you called him Snowflake.
I was insulting him.
Yes. So, you not tortured him.
I disabled him.
And got a little bit of information from him, very little information from him, and then you got a whole bunch of stuff from him in the form of a jar of Sharingan eyes and a dossier hit list booklet of people whom you know from your knowledge that you've looked into to all be part of the Sharingan clan.
Well, one thing I want to do before, sort of between this, Ryhn's going to transfer those eyes to that specialty container he's had since way early on in the game.
So you're going to put the container...
he's transferring the eyes to the specially made container to preserve them.
Yes. Okay.
Context for people listening here. Way earlier on the session, before we started recording, Ryan's been keeping a container just in case of eye emergency. Essentially.
Because of course he has.
Because he's the most prepared, knowledgeable, insane son of a bitch ever.
Yes.
And I play him well.
You do. As much as it bothers everyone else sometimes.
Hey, I'm just keeping true to the character.
Yep.
But, before we continue, let's let the people in the comments decide. Is Ryan staying true to his character, or is everybody thinking he is an evil son of a bitch? You decide.
Yeah, let's actually put some of that into the comments so I get an excuse to get a couple comments in these videos, because I haven't had any.
We're looking at you, Ellen.
No, not, maybe not Ellen. I would actually be very happy to see a comment, and when she listens to this, she'll be like, ooh, interesting. I will be happy to see a comment from Abby.
Pogator.
Huh?
Pogator. But
I've sent the thing to her. She has been watching it. She just never commented. So, either way, yeah. Sending this question your way, Abby. Does Ryan seem evil? Because you haven't actually told me whether or not you think that or not.
Same thing with you, listeners.
Yes. That said, that was going to be one of my questions, whether or not you kept the eyes from inside the jar, and you do. In your special eye container of doom.
I prepared utilities container of doom.
Blush. So, you are now left with 3 different options of things that you can do. One of which, if you take it, then it sort of voids the other 2, because the first option is you leaving and trying to make your way back to the desert. The other 2 involve you staying in Rusadana. So, you can't stay in Rusadana after having left it. So,
well, I mean, if you want to argue semantics, you can stay in Rusadana and go. You go, and then you come back to Rusadana and stay.
Yes, but regardless...
I understand what you're getting at, and I'm just being a semantic asshole right now.
Yes, so... Your first option is to leave Rusadana and follow through with trying to meet back up with your team, because it's pretty clear especially to someone like Ryan, that they were probably walking into a fight, and therefore they might need help.
But also he already knew at the time they were pretty much going to walk into a fight. I mean, it is pretty much a wall. It is made to keep people out and certain people in.
Precisely.
Down to it pretty much expected. I mean, to a certain extent, he thinks they're able to protect themselves to a certain extent, but with the ability to still have things go over their heads. But with the latest kind of heat, he kind of wants to kind of edge the brakes for a little bit, while still keeping to his mission. Also, what happened to the guy Ryan pretty much sit there and did his hand defrosters to at the end of the last session?
The what to?
The one where you had Rusakage, I believe her name was.
So tell me?
Yeah. The one that has a weak constitution for medical work.
Oh, yes. You did...
So she was sitting there picking at it, and Ryan, after dealing with Cupcake, decided to just superheat his hand and go...
That technically leads into one of your other options for what you could do. One of the options was you stay in Rusadana and make sure that the people there are okay, and it's clear that some of them that are trapped in ice are actually still alive, and you being fire acclimated, it's very easy for you to just come over there and...
Well, I mean,
And he did do that last session, so...
Well, the fact is, he's probably going to pretty much flash unfreeze him with his hands. I mean, Little fire chocolate. Hot knife through butter.
Yep. So, in going over to where Satomi is, Kimogu is probably, yeah, he's over here near where Satomi is. He just doesn't want to try to shatter the ice to do something with it. And he's actually keeping his he appears to be keeping his distance from her at the moment.
I wonder why he's got put through the wall. What? Twice now?
Well, that was by Sora, not by her. But yeah. He's sort of hanging back. And
you would think he would be keeping an eye on Cupcake from doing something stupid.
Oh, right. I knew there was something he was doing. He's taking Cupcake to the place in which to hold prisoners. That makes more sense. Okay. I knew there was a reason he was doing something else. I am horrible sometimes. Anyway.
It's worse, just transparency here. The tired guy is actually keeping the story coherent.
Sometimes.
Sometimes? I think
better than I am most of the time. But anyway. So you go over to help, and you see as you come over that Satomi is very avidly trying to get this person, whom on closer inspection appears to be a young girl, probably like 12. And she's trying to get her chiseled out and unfrozen. And do you make any sort of comment to Satomi as you try to melt the ice, or do you just come up beside her and...
Pretty much, Ryan's just gonna kind of start it and pretty much turn to her, is like, go get a place for these people to warm up. It won't be long for them to be out until they're out.
Okay.
And he's just gonna go to every pretty much solid block person and flash unfreeze them.
Yep.
So
as you flash unfreeze the
Dedisons,
the younger girl, she falls to her knees, gasping for air because logically she would have little of that. And
actually, I mean, if you want to play logical, she'd be probably choking on water with her and her actual body heat. Warming up the ice around her, giving her a little bit of room, but that water still has to go somewhere, and the closest obstacle is her mouth.
Yeah. So she's gasping for air because she is choking on water. Same principle, just not...
Science. On an RPT, or a D20 system. You're welcome, folks. Somebody's got to do it.
She gasps for air, and then she just... in a very weak version of what Mikashi ended up... or in a very weak version of a tackle hug, she hugs Satomi rather than Ryhn. And
oh yeah, don't hug the one that unfroze you. Ryhn so feels the love.
Yeah. And Satomi appears to be comforting her very much.
Ryan's just gonna walk over to the next one and just continue the process.
Yep. Next person is this one over here.
Let's just say he goes through it all, just to kind of save you a headache.
Oh yeah, I mean, you're not gonna get a whole lot out of anyone else as they're gasping for air, other than subtle bits of gratitude and thank you.
Except for that one asshole going, about damn time.
Do you unfreeze the puppet?
Yeah, but he probably doesn't take the careful procedure, making sure not to, burn somebody, since it's a puppet and an inanimate object. He probably goes the whole full hand and pull out kind of deal. Just enough to weaken the ice and just crack it.
Okay. And in doing so, the puppet basically does this flourish, and then voice from the puppet. Finally.
I'm sorry. Living, breathing takes priority first.
Oh, fair. I get it. Also doesn't help when I'm abandoned. I have to really get on her for that. Well, maybe there's something else to it. Who knows? Okay.
Do I even want to know? Besides, Mr. Popsicle deciding to give everybody a good case of the Ice Age, what happened?
Well, he showed up. He was wanting to just mess up the area. That's what he said anyway. He was clearly crazy, if you couldn't tell.
Oh, no, I thought he was perfectly sane.
The puppet raises its eyebrow at you.
Sarcasm. Deal with it.
Regardless, he was come in wanting to mess up the area. We tried to stop him as best we can. We have few guards anyway because of things that have been going on with Azagiru lately. And he got the upper hand. And then he just was enjoying seeing the area stay frozen and hiding out. And then you guys showed up.
Well, he won't have the upper hand anymore after I took him.
Yeah, I wagered that when I saw the two of them walking by, though I could not say anything to the matter.
Let's just put it this way. Don't repair his arms. I dislocated them.
Well.
Hey, would you rather have Mr. Popsicle give this place a new Ice Age?
No, definitely not again. I would need to look into see what happened to the Rusakage though, because I should have been able to take him down, but then.
Well, you weren't expecting Speedy Gonzalez to pop out of nowhere.
He tilted his head curiously.
He wasn't alone. There's a ninja who essentially has high speed ranking, who would have completely skipped your notice.
Speed ranks. I hate speed ranks. What point is it in being so dadgum fast?
Well, one of two things. Fast enough to strike your enemy without realizing who did it, which means leaves it open to many assassination attempts, and also clear sign to be able to pin it on somebody else. Someone else is in the room, they get stabbed, make sure the knife is in their pocket, runs off before anybody could blink an eye.
Yeah, this is very true. Either way, I do want to make sure that the Rusakage is open. Wait, he looks up. There we go. I guess our connection was somehow interrupted or something. Chakra interference.
The fact is you were fresh frozen, that stuck everything cold.
You're the one that always does the puns, aren't you?
No, but this makes a really good time to actually do it. And be happy it wasn't there.
Alright, regardless, I'm heading back. Make sure everything's okay. She doesn't appear to actually be at home, but she is in the village. Alright. If you need to speak to the Rusakage, you can come down that way. Otherwise, it'd probably be best for you to help.
It'd probably be wiser to do it since I've already unfroze everybody.
Well, he sort of gestures and looks around to the parts of the buildings and towns that have been sort of frozen and like bits and building that's been frozen and shattered, and well, you don't look like the type to go and repair, so you do what you want.
Do I look like a miracle worker to you?
No, but you are a fire ninja, and that's increasingly useful here. And he makes his way this way.
Ryan's just gonna follow.
Okay. Inside, or he comes down towards the Kage house and then stands there for a little bit and then moves on past it. And then he eventually gets to where you see the same Rusakage from before. Basically, somewhat close to your age, a young woman with long dreadlocks of hair, and when you had initially encountered her, she was sort of meditating and floating, and both her hands, feet, and hair and everything was just chakra threads everywhere, and Shiori was all kind of like, whoa.
Ooh, pretty lines. I can see him for miles. Anyway.
Yes. And you see her, and she appears to be sort of... She's drained, like she's used a lot of her chakra, but she's not actually... She doesn't appear to be physically hurt, at least not when you first come across her. You also notice that her hair, which is normally, braided up into dreadlocks, is still braided, but it's also wet. So it's like drenched in across her face. And she sees
I'm not gonna even make the thought joke at this point. Go ahead.
Yes. She sees you coming and then just sort of she just like gestures and swats the hair out of her face and where's the rest of your team?
You probably wouldn't believe me if I told you.
Try me.
The sand wall.
Nah.
Ryan's gonna reach into his cook and get one of his, fuck what they called. Come on. See, this is the wonderful thing of actually writing shit down here. Items. The Chaco Restoration Amplifier.
So it's basically a potion. Why is it called an amplifier? That's weird.
Blame who made the system.
It makes it sound like a device instead of a potion, and then it says Chakra Restoration Amplifier. This potion. Anyway.
Actually, it makes sense. It amplifies your chakra restoration, like heightens it, so it makes sense. Though I will agree, it just needs the added descriptive potion or tonic.
Yeah. So you hand one of those off to her, I guess, then?
Yep.
Okay.
You could always hit the store. Right there, let's see. Milk, eggs, amplifier. Let's see, some wheat thins. Kunai.
It's apparently jokingly sometimes called crap on the field.
Yeah, it is.
It's amusing.
Probably because of the taste, but
yeah. So she drinks that and
probably feels a whole lot better.
Yeah, her energy slowly starts to return. Although there's a moment as though she's not doing any kind of gestures to charge chakra, there's this moment when you actually visibly see her chakra returning, and the puppet that has been following you also, he just sort of, whoa, thank you. Because the chakra that's in the puppet is associated with hers, so.
Oh, I'm just saying, and that's what happens when you come prepared.
So, your team went off to... I suppose I can understand that. I don't know the details of what your team is all trying to do, but...
Truth be told, at this point, it's hard to, understand what they're trying to accomplish.
If it has anything to do with the Azagiru, it makes sense for them to go towards the wall though that wall's probably a death trap.
Oh, it's more, from what I'm to understand it, more personal business than Azagiro business.
Perhaps someone important has been captured by the Azagiro. That would make sense. That's kind of what they're known for.
They're also known to recruit too, so...
Yes.
It's a 50-50 shot, to be honest. And it's even accounting that if the person is there, already been gone, so forth. Of course, we split with a bit of a fight, so... I just hope they haven't done anything stupid.
I'm sure they're thinking the same of you.
Oh, most definitely they think that of me. Hey,
well,
I just make sure I get the job done.
And I'm assuming you were part of the cause to capture the one that had frozen half the town.
Yeah, he didn't expect me to pop him right behind him and break both of his arms. Hey, I had to disable him. Felt like the easiest way. Could be fixed. I wouldn't recommend it.
Fair. At least not right now, anyway. Besides, the Garukage's one amazing medical specialist, so she can save anyone as long as his chakras nodes are still functional. And trust me, there's a lot that you can do to a person without destroying their chakra nodes.
Yeah, you could send pain right through those nodes and make sure they hate every second of every minute of their life.
Yep. So, what do you yourself wish to do? Are you going to journey to try to help your friends, or are you going to take some time, considering that there was a fight, as you said?
Well, I'm still obligated by the mission to make sure our mark is safe and secure. And I will still follow the mission, not saying that I'm not worried about my team. I just know they are able to at least put up a good fight.
Yes. And your mark was to tell me, with her being home and the incident that had happened here, she is probably going to be busy for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the young minor puppeteer that was your team's medic, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, did you get anything from the man who tried to destroy this village?
Well, from one of the two.
That was the second one, huh?
Speed ranks.
Of course.
Ryhn is gonna kind of reach into his cloak and pull out the file. I did. Apparently, they've been going after a few marks, few high-powered ones, which explain so much. He kind of one hand holds the file enough to kind of give enough of a cursory glance for the point it may be made across.
Yes. I wager that some of those people there are high-ranking ninjas and possibly law enforcement, considering that the heavy target has been in the law enforcement in this area.
I'd probably say a good few of these are already been hit.
Yep.
Especially pertaining to what else he had on him.
What is that?
A set of eyes.
Shine down.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we should definitely look more into this. If you're to stay here and help, perhaps you would be just the person to get more information out of. What did he call him? She looks to her puppet. Cupcake, I think.
Cupcake, Snowflake. I figured a humiliating nickname would help kind of get the point across, but he is really hungry for pain. Though granted, I can, his hands are kind of, his hand that he's holding out is kind of glowing like a red hot iron, like a sword stuck in the forge, kind of glowing hot.
Yeah.
Like, I can dish out pain to the point where he won't feel pain ever again. Well, not anything above the surface.
Well, if we push enough pain through him that he doesn't feel much anymore, we're probably not going to get a whole lot of information out of him. And unfortunately,
that's the thing. He craves pain.
Yes.
Trying to take his ability to feel pain away.
This is true. I wish that one of our best interrogators was one of the ones that has already been captured.
From what I am to understand, he was just sent here to wreak havoc. Diversionary tactic, possibly, but he doesn't seem a high-level officer. He more seems like a destructive grunt. So what information he has probably wouldn't actually be useful.
In that case, probably be best for you to go and make sure that he is kept in such a way to prevent him from doing much more.
We already have one ninja keeping an eye on him, putting him in a cell. Like I said, I broke both of his arms. I broke him just right so he can't do hand signals. So I literally disabled him. Anything beyond the jutsus that don't require them. And if I need to, I will disable those as well. Of course, he wouldn't be breathing for much longer if I did.
Agreed. You're a take no trying to find the appropriate word.
Take no chances.
Yes.
I like to make sure the job is done thoroughly. I do not like to leave things to chance. Because one roll of the dice can lead you a 1, or it will lead you a boxcar.
And were you able to learn anything about this second person?
Unfortunately, he was fast and decided to take off towards the wall. My assumption is pretty much what has happened here has been reported or will be reported probably within the hour. I'm not fast enough to catch up to him, so unfortunately, that card has been played.
Well then, I would advise you to try to maintain and make sure that everyone here is safe, and then I'll put into to increase some of our defenses here myself.
This place has been compromised.
Indeed.
For how okay, out of character real quick. How big is this town?
It's about average size. I mean, it's not.
How many buildings are we talking here? 5, 10.
Not counting like about 5 or 6 like that are normal buildings. You probably got like about 8 rather large, important type buildings, and then 5 or 6 little housing towns. There's not a whole lot of big families, or there's not a whole lot of people, of individual families here. There's just a lot of families that are big.
So pretty much, we're talking about probably a good cluster of people ranging anywhere from 30 to 50 people, roughly.
Yeah, thereabout.
Alright.
Typical sort of small population town that one would find in an anime.
A small kind of hatched bird of houses. Okay. I was going, at this point, they already know about this place. So your best bet is relocating. At most, probably see if you can go to an allied town and fortify it until you can find a more secure domicile.
Actually, leaving this town is not much of an option. There's already been enough heartache in this area. Few of those that are not high-ranking ninjas are going to be willing to leave as it is. Especially with the
recent attack?
Well, the recent attack is going to make the events that are actually planned in town to help increase morale all that more important. Leaving this town entirely, that's not going to help our town's morale, and there's so few people here left. I'm not leaving here.
I'm just giving you the outsider's perspective to this.
Agreed.
I don't know any of the inside mechanics of this town. Hell, as far as I know of, you have an underground network of bait. The underground network to work with. I don't know.
There are events and things that are important to this town and to only this town. But I understand your insight. We will be safe here. I will make sure of it.
Then I would suggest probably having those that are at least skilled enough fighters, well stocked. Probably a few more of these amplifiers on hand for when you need it.
Yes.
And I would probably condense houses down to some of the more key ones and fortifying those. Though while probably making sure some of the other houses look like they've been fortified too. Maximizing your chances of seeing which ones get attacked while other ones are safe.
That's assuming that this town is an outright target, which is entirely possible considering what has happened in the past. But I will do what I can here. But I have to make sure the people of my town are happy as well as safe.
That is your choice. I'm just laying out the options as I see them. A leader needs to be well informed of both the inside and the outside position.
Yes. You don't have to worry, though. There's no deep, dark secret for this town as far as something that would make this town not want to be your village's own ally, anyway.
When it comes to things, everybody has secrets. Everything has a dark side. It's how we portray them.
Agreed. As it stands, I think it best for you to look into your other teammates and make sure that they are safe. Satomi will be fine here.
Give me one moment. I want to look at my inventory for a moment. I just had an idea. Okay, Ryan's gonna look at her. He's like, by chance, do you have a few radios on hand?
That's possible. Older ones, maybe.
Anything I can take apart to make you essentially a receiver and a sender?
I probably do. Let's return to the Kage house and see what I can find.
Alright.
And cut to you guys in the house itself. Some of the other puppets are just running around like crazy trying to repair the house, which looks like a hurricane went through it. And she goes through some of her older, like, mechanical supplies, and she brings out the things that you would potentially need to make a radio.
Alright. Ryhn is going to find a relatively quiet area to work in. And he's going to pull out the walkie-talkie that he has as well.
Mm-hmm.
And he's pretty much going to make a two-way setup where it's the one of the empty signals for the walkie-talkie is used for a direct line from them to him.
Okay. Roll me craft mechanical.
Actually, I'm just going to take a 10 on it and have 16.
Fair.
Part of the reason I had to look and see what my stat was for mechanic, because I knew you were going to have me roll that fucking son of a bitch.
Well, either way, so, you traveled up to Rusadana, and it's probably well into the late afternoon whenever you finally finish making it. But you do have a successful and functional two-way radio.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much is going to explain how it works, and pretty much saying that if something happens, to be able to get in contact with him. Since his walkie-talkie is more kind of like a little ear communicator thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Question is, do you remember when we got that damn thing?
I do.
Okay.
It was from just before you went to the tower that was part of the Daiju mission. You came across a camp that had a broken down receiver.
Mm-hmm. That Ryan sat there and repaired.
Yep. Totally fine with that. Actually, that presents a way for things to be much easier for me later.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Alright. So...
And at this point, Ryan's going to be just constantly wearing the earpiece.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty. So what does Ryhn do from here?
Well, I want to say Komogu.
Yeah.
Well, Ryan's gonna meet up Komogu at the a cell and pretty much kind of move him where he's by the door, but also just kind of out of earshot of Snowflake, Cupcake, Mr. Tall, Dark, and Broken Arms.
Yeah. Okay. As you come out to look, let's see something real quick. Okay, no. Didn't think so. Okay. As you come out and since it has been a while, Komodo looks like visibly tired, and he looks to you as you come up and says, as much it was probably not the most sane thing to do, I'm very glad you broke his arms. He would have been a pain to deal with otherwise. Give me a spot check, Ryan.
Alright, give me one more to go check what my spot is. I'm wanting to say it's a plus 11.
I believe so.
Yep. I'm getting good at remembering that number.
Since it's used all the dang time.
Yeah, fucking tell me about it.
It's perception. What can you do?
I keep forgetting my number pad's down this way, because I can't actually see it since I'm sitting in the dark. It's okay, I spot the whole world, yay!
Begrudgingly.
Begrudgingly?
No, congratulations. I was just messing up because of words. As he's speaking and as you're walking up, you see that Komodo has what appears to be a like necklace or something akin to maybe a locket that he has in his hands.
Ryan's just gonna do the whole kind of like head motion to it to kind of show that he sees it. Like, what's that?
Well, this is just something I found off of, what you call him, Snowflake, Cupcake, whatever.
I was just insulting him.
And well, we don't have his name, so might as well. Yeah, this is just something he had. The way he reacted when I took it, he made some sort of gesture that it might be some sort of religious symbol. I don't know, but I have no idea.
Ryan's just gonna hold out his hand to get a closer look at it.
Yep. He hands it off to you.
What does this thing look like?
It looks similar to like it's definitely with your study and the things that you've learned, it's definitely a religious symbol. So it's sort of like a weird cross of sorts, except instead of being... Okay, it's very weird. Imagine a cross, but as if the cross is made out of two scythes that are layered to form a cross, with the blades being the horizontal line.
So it looks like a pair of hedge clippers?
Well, no, it's not bent up. The blades are completely diagonal, so it couldn't bend to be hedge clippers, but yeah.
But like the sake of having it opened up like a pair of hedge clippers.
It's like an open pair of hedge clippers, yeah.
Okay. Let's see if the Will Wheaton curse is with me today.
Do you have knowledge?
History.
Oh yeah, that would work, wouldn't it?
Oh, fuck yeah, it would. Plus 21 for you folks at home.
Yep. Okay.
Lay it on me.
Who needs religion when you have history, right?
Everything has a tie back to truth.
Okay. So, that particular symbol, or cross, is something that would make sense for him to have, considering his personality. It appears... It's a cross that is meant to represent a being that is essentially sort of a cult in Naruto's universe.
Okay, please tell me for the love of God this is not essentially the cult of the Grim Reaper.
Not precisely, but it's...
But am I in the ballpark here?
Basically, it's a cult of a being of death. But yes. And I'm making up the symbol because there's only one character in the show that appears to be a part of this cult. But,
Is it bad that I pretty much could figure that one out?
Oh,
so you trying to describe this thing?
It was pretty obvious. I mean, I'm not too vague on details.
I figure
there's no point in me being vague on the details when you're just going to figure them out anyway because skills.
Then the fact is, I just have that leap of logic anyway. Yeah. So Ryan's just going to convey all the information he knows about this, and insult pretty much pulling out his book, flipping to his short guide of it, and just
that makes Kamogu's going to look through it and be like, that makes total sense. The idea that the Azagiru are also, at least some of them, worshippers of this cult, that doesn't bode very well.
Yeah, because first we thought we were dealing with the military tactics. Now we're just dealing with the occult insane. Joy, logic, right out the window.
Well, any group of people is going to have their few nuts, so I would hope that...
From the sound of it, they have a full peanut gallery ready to go.
A little more reason for us to go and check on the others.
Yeah, but that also means that we're walking into a lot bigger game here than I think we're all prepared for.
One can only hope Sume has come to her senses in some degree.
Ryan's going, yeah, no. While I'm more of a blunt, semi-tactical blind, she plays by emotions and getting the job done. Despite the fact is we don't mesh well in a larger scale like this, I think we would end up butting heads and she would be doing something rash to meet her ends. Right now, what we really need is a trump card.
Either way, we should try to make our way back to the wall and see what's come of their trek there. I did tell her to not do anything rash, and one could only hope she listened to me.
Ryan's just going to give one of those looks as like, do you really believe she actually did that?
I can't be sure. It's all the more reason to go.
Okay, so, I have a character question. Mm-hmm. Is, Miss Greenhorn of the medic industry the only doctor here?
As far as Ryan's able to tell, at least outright, it is. However, there are some people that are recovering from being frozen that appeared to have some degree of medical knowledge. Because there's more on the map than what I have, I just didn't.
I figured that's part of the reason why I was asking the larger scale question.
Yeah. I mean, there are other medical officials here. And for what it's worth, after the whole bit with Garakotsu, she's a little bit less squeamish. So.
Oh, besides the fact is she's outright seen Ryan just flash fry a fucker.
Yeah.
Ryan's gonna sit there and look like he's contemplating something.
Kamogu is looking over to Satomi as well, who's still trying to help. She's gotten better. Did you speak with the Rusakage?
Ryan's just going to kind of nod, and he's doing this kind of like this thought where you see two of his fingers kind of rubbing the left side of his lip, while his right thumb is just like slightly pressed against his cheek, Like he's sitting there, his brain is just, the gears are turning. Like a few ideas are forming.
Kimogu's seen this gesture on him before, so he's just gonna sit and wait.
I'm gonna ask about how much time do you think we would have to, from here to there? General driving time, even if we end up skipping a night or two for travel.
With the possibility of us walking into a fight, I don't know if skipping a night is a good idea, but
I would say initial traveling of the first 2 nights, just going there, because it was still, when we split, a few days travel between that point to there. So if we end up making up that time with out sleeping for them, take at least an 8-hour, and then going fresh, we'll be still bright-eyed and bushy-tail for shit hitting the fan, which it kind of seems like that's an inevitability. And even if it's just one of us.
Are you suggesting that one of us, that you go alone or something?
No. I'm thinking a means to an end.
If we traveled in the night, that would probably cut a day off of our travel time. With, out of character, with night being like half as long as day.
Well, the rules of the whole, take for instance for training, it's essentially split up into 3 8-hour periods.
Yeah.
So
if you travel and it takes you 4 days, that's to say it takes 8
morning and afternoon, technically one day, and then morning after another day. Then if we end up skipping 2 days of sleep on the 3rd day, or the afternoon of it, and we take the 8 hours, we would be there in 3 days.
Yeah. Basically.
Give or take. And even if it takes 4 days, for what I have in mind. Ryan's gonna give the whole finger to hold that thought, and he's gonna go back to the Kage of this village real quick.
Okay.
I can only assume she's at her house that's at least decently prepared. And he's going to walk in relatively respectful for, a demolished house. For some reason, I just see him going knock, knock, knock. And there goes the door.
Sure.
And one of the puppies goes, God damn it, I just fixed that.
Yeah, kinda.
Sorry, couldn't resist. Comedian had to come out at one point.
Hey, there's gotta be some humor to resist the tension here.
Not counting my cold puns earlier.
That too.
So, is she available?
Yeah.
Alright.
She appears to be writing a note that the puppets let you come to her.
Mm-hmm. Does she say anything when she,
When she hears you enter, she turns around. Yes?
Ryan's going, who would you say is your best, medical currently? Specifically something involving the retinal region.
You did say that they had a pair of shotgun eyes. You aren't thinking what I'm thinking you're thinking, are you?
I'm thinking of making those really useful.
Of the ones that are available, there's not a strong focused one here, but being a town among... I do know of one.
Who?
It's a young man by the name of... let me get a name. Let me actually look one up so I'm not coming up with something out of my butt. I can tap.
Why don't you just come up with one out of your ass? That's what I do.
I know, but it's not
Oh,
as
just
cool.
call him freaking, what, I don't know, Ryhn or something.
Let's see here. Ito. There we go. ITO. Ito.
Okay, he's gonna... Oh, how extensive is the medical?
That would be up to him given the situation. But Ito is not here. The village he hails from is Sigoti in the west. And thankfully he's not a police officer in any way, so he's probably not targeted.
Ryan's gonna pull out the file and see if his name is among those.
Nope.
Okay. About how far a day's travel would it be from here to there?
If you traveled from Rusadana to Sigoti, you're looking at probably it was 4 days travel from Rusadana to the desert, 4 days travel from Rusadana to Garakutsu, and 4 days travel from Rusadana to Sigoti. So
This is a fucking island of fours. It's actually kind of annoying now.
a little bit.
Can you pop me over to the map so I can take a look at it specifically? 7 hours of trying to load. Okay. Where exactly is it on this one so I can get an eyeball or an idea of this?
Over there to the left, the light green one, beside the mountains,
Side the mountains.
the teeny tiny mountains.
I know. Actually, you can cut that date and cut that time down because you could boat.
You could, if you wanted to travel on a boat. But there's not really a docking town. You'd have to, buy a boat and carry it.
Okay, how much, foliage is, around the town as we were coming to it? Mainly, around where my marker is right now.
It's pretty, it's basically like a savanna field in and around this area. It doesn't really start to get into, sparse trees until you get about right here. This area around Rusadana is mostly meadow and grasslands. That's why it was so easy to come across the coal, because the land was very flat.
Okay. Ryan's gonna ask, pretty much flat out ask, would you trust him to do your eyes?
Ito and Sigoti?
Mm-hmm.
I would trust him with my life. He's actually saved it more than once.
How would he take to someone asking him to replace eyes? Flat out, no context. Asking.
Given the right circumstances, and especially with the circumstances of what's been going on right now, he would have to see some sort of credentials to prove that you're not a missing man or some criminal. But
what about a letter from you?
It could be done.
Would you be willing, is the question.
You've helped my town. And with the help of this radio, it's probably a given that you would do your best to come if the need arose. What do you wish to do with the eyes?
Use them myself.
Well, yes, but what is your ultimate goal? Are you going to use them as a binge for more power, more knowledge, or
I'm a tool of my village. I would be using them as the village needs me to use them. If it means defense, if it means assault, whatever my village needs them. I am to be used as a tool.
There were ninjas that have been wrote about in books during the war that were very much like you. You've read those, yes?
Ryan's just gonna nod. And he kind of pulls out his book. I've made notes of it too. Kind of like a quick flip showing his coded shorthand.
The only thing, it would help your case immensely if Ito was not only to see my signature, but as well as the Rusakage as well. And he's a bit of a trickster. And he's also very attached to some who have the Sharingan.
Mm-hmm.
Especially considering some of his high-ranking officials have it as well. It could be done. And she sort of pulls some of her paperwork away and starts to write. And then moments later she presents you with a note in her signature implying that you are a deserving ninja, and to give you a Sharingan eye would be very useful to both the villages of this continent and to Nepari. And you also notice in her message she cites Mikashi, saying something about she cites the name Mikashi, which she is not necessarily aware that you know by name.
Mm-hmm.
And she cites that, like Mikashi, he is a ninja of his word, referring to you.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then she lets you have that, and you sort of probably put it into your bag.
Well, he keeps it on hand with his book because he doesn't part his book with his book. So,
yeah.
And he's pretty much going to do the whole formal thank you and all that, and then comes back out to
Kimogu.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Kimogu is waiting by the door when you come back, and he's... Ryhn, what do you have planned?
Many things. Many contingencies. Now, some people would say, and this is not in character, I have plans for my plans, and when my plans fail, I have plans for those plans.
Yes.
Going, while time is not on our side, I think it is time for us to go and meet up with the rest of the team. But after we are done there, I have somewhere I need to go. If you're willing to accompany for that.
Perhaps, assuming that there's nothing too harsh going on, and assuming she listened, maybe we can successfully if we can keep the group together and whatever you have planned, don't keep it. You don't have to tell me now. He sort of holds up his hand. You don't have to say anything now. But don't keep too many secrets.
Ryan's just gonna go and look at him with a flat look. Like, not really saying, not showing that he's lying, but more of a saying is just keeping secrets, and then there's being asked the right questions.
Yeah, agreed. Well, I'm going to check on Satomi right quickly. Make sure she's good for me to head on out.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can travel and we can go.
Alright, in that time, Ryan's just going to pretty much raid the gear from Cupcake and have it with his things. Hey, I figured that guy is well stocked for being insane.
Oh yeah. Well, admittedly, he has most of the gear and stuff he has is not. I mean,
it's probably not standard issue. It's probably illegal.
Hold on.
That or maybe military.
Okay. Okay. I rolled a d6 -1 and got 0. I was gonna roll to see if he had any ice bombs since he's an ice user, and apparently he used them all.
Way to go, Jack Frost. Way to go. I can keep up with these ice buttons.
Oh, I know you can.
I won't let it go.
Although, one thing I will say that he does have is, let me see here. Yeah. He has a, little... This was more hidden in his thing so that you couldn't get to him without, like, outright searching him. And at the point when you come, he's totally unconscious. He actually has a black eye. It's as if Kamogu's just sort of quit in betwixt all the rest of the stuff. And he had a vial of soldier pills.
Ryan's definitely going to be yanking those.
Yep.
I'll mark it on my sheet later and put the page number for you.
Oh yeah, it's 145. I got it right here.
Well, no, when I go to update the sheet for later.
Yep. And then you meet with Kamogu, and
I'm also going to actually take the extra pack, because you never know when you need it. It's just it's needed folded away and stuck with it. The other pack.
Alright.
Because you never know when you need a diversionary bag.
And then you're going to briskly try to make your way to the wall.
Does Kamogu, spark a conversation on the way?
He's quiet for the biggest part of the first part of your trip, but as it gets later into the evening of that first night that you continue to travel, he says, I know Rusadana is a small village, smaller than our own, and with them being the target of some sort of an attack, it would have been easy to have them uproot and leave. You talked to the Rusakage. You didn't try to get them to leave, did you?
I suggested it. I only gave an outside perspective on what I see, and I don't know the inner workings of that village. I only saw what I knew, and gave information based off of that. And obviously a tactical suggestion.
Yes.
And I don't think it was actually specifically that village. From what Tall, Dark, and Frosty wanted, he was sent there more because the three of us, well, four of us, were there.
You remember the war and think that you've read about it no more than even I do.
Kind of shrugs and says, goes without saying.
Not very many people that are left in Rusadana are the nomadic and traveling type. The few that are left are those that stuck it out and wanted to stay when the town had been under fire all those years ago. So much so that the town holds a festival of sorts to help boost morale. They've been doing it every year since they've rebuilt.
Mm-hmm.
That would be why they are not going to leave. What did you speak to the Rusakage about? Besides what you wish to keep that you spoke to her later about?
The original one?
The first visit, yes.
It was a means of communication. And Ryan's gonna pull his hair back to show the essentially walkie-talkie on him. I essentially created them a receiver of sorts, so pretty much a direct line to us, just in case.
Good. I can only hope the Rusakage shows that to Satomi, because I have horrible memory.
I wrote down instructions.
Well, I know that she would want me here for the festival, and I just can never remember when it is.
Could Ryan do a history check to just see if he knows it?
See if you know when it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yep, I know it. 41.
Whoa, wait, what? Holy!
I know everything about that festival.
You know when it is, what it's for, why, yeah, okay.
And Ryan's just gonna rattle off the time, the day, need, and the preparations for it. Just to kind of prove, yeah, he knows.
It is... because I do actually have this festival in my... it is referred to as the...
Let's just say every time he makes a high knowledge check, it's in his book.
Yeah, basically. There is the name in the Skype chat. Matsuri no Usagi.
You know Ghost is going to say, you butchered that horribly at some point. I just know it.
Probably. Although Ghost is going to look at it and know exactly what it is, because that's literally translated. The first word is actually festival, and the second word is rabbit. It's literally Festival of the Rabbit.
Year of the Hare, Chinese Zodiac.
Uh-huh.
I should know. I am the Year of the Hare.
Yep.
So what does Komogu say when Ryhn just literally rattles off of this information?
He's half flabbergasted, but then he's just like, eh.
It's like, I should have fucking guessed.
Yeah, pretty much. And for date, it is September 25th.
Was it currently in-game?
In-game, it is currently April 25th. Or thereabouts. It's probably more like April 27th. Because I haven't moved the current day from your last bit of travel, so.
Alright, I'm just gonna say you have time.
Yeah. It's basically May, June, July, August,
September.
It's like 6 months away.
Plenty of time to, deal with whatever is going down in Sandtown and then go deal with Ryan's goal.
Yeah. Okay. So.
You can go. Anything else? Do you need to remember?
If I do come up with anything, I'll ask you and you'll probably know.
It's probably in my book.
Okay. I am now presented with, do I give you an obstacle, or do I cut here and figure out what the rest of them are doing in order to have the two of you meet back up again?
May I make a suggestion?
Mm-hmm.
Your best bet, probably for a simpler one, is to have us do our original plan of passage and have it pretty much end here, and then see what they do, because if they go on, then you can pick up with the passage in a following session. If they decide to say, fuck it, and go. If not, you can shoot me a text, I'll hop into the call, we can just pick up and go.
Yeah. Alright.
See, this is why it's great to have a DM as one of the players, because he knows all the ways of bullshit. Of course, it also makes it hard trying to bullshit a DM.
Alright. So, you want to do a quick sign out then?
Yep. This is Naruto, A New World. Join us next time when we find out if they decide to go without us or if we catch up. Should be fun.